Admiral Tae-ho Kim stood at the large window of the Galactic Assembly Defense Force headquarters. The stars looked peaceful from here, but he knew that peace was now over. "It's starting, isn't it?" asked Commander Jiwoo Park as she entered the room. Her uniform was neat, but her eyes showed worry. Tae-ho nodded slowly. "The STAEN have attacked 3 systems already. They are moving fast." Jiwoo joined him at the window. She was his most trusted officer, serving with him for 15 years. "Why now? The STAEN have been quiet for so long." A screen on the wall lit up. It showed the latest battle reports. More red dots appeared on the map. More systems falling to the STAEN forces. Resources, land, power, the usual reasons for war, Tae-ho said. But there's something strange about this one. He pressed a button on the console. A recording began to play. It showed the STAEN ambassador, a tall being made of shining crystal. Its voice was deep and had a strange echo. "The Galactic Assembly has taken what belongs to the STAEN for too long," the crystal being said. "All species except humans must give up the disputed territories or face war." Tae-ho paused the recording. "Did you notice? They excluded humans from their threats." Jiwoo's eyes widened. "But humans have been gone for almost 300 years. Everyone knows that." That was the strange part. Humans were now just stories that parents told their children, tales of a powerful species that once helped form the Galactic Assembly, but then disappeared after a great disaster. Many young people thought humans were just myths. "The STAEN are very old," Tae-ho said. "They remember the humans. They fear them." Analyst Subin Lee rushed into the room. He was young and always full of energy. Today his face was pale. "Admiral, 2 more systems have fallen," Subin reported. "The STAEN ships. Our weapons barely hurt them." Tae-ho wasn't surprised. The STAEN were known for their advanced technology. Their ships were made of living crystal that could repair itself. Their weapons used energy in ways that other species were still trying to understand. "Show me the current battle," Tae-ho ordered. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a small fleet of assembly ships fighting against 3 large STAEN vessels. The assembly ships fired everything they had. The STAEN ships' crystal hulls absorbed the hits and kept going. Within minutes, half the assembly fleet was destroyed. "We can't win this fight," Jiwoo said quietly. "Not with our current weapons." Tae-ho nodded. He had already reached the same conclusion. "The assembly has grown soft in these years of peace. We forgot what it means to be ready for war." "What do we do?" asked Subin. His hands were shaking slightly as he typed on his tablet. Tae-ho took a deep breath. What he was about to suggest would sound crazy to most people. "We need to find the humans." Silence filled the room. Jiwoo and Subin stared at him. "Admiral," Jiwoo finally said, "most people believe humans died out or left the galaxy centuries ago. Their space has been empty for 300 years. Ships that go there don't come back." "Not empty," Tae-ho corrected. "Protected. There's a difference." He walked to another console and entered his highest security code. A new map appeared showing a section of the galaxy that most modern maps marked as the dead zone or the empty sector. "This is what we once called human space," Tae-ho explained. 200 systems that used to be the heart of human territory. Subin looked confused. "But our sensors show nothing there, no signals, no ships, no station activity." "Because they don't want us to see," Tae-ho said. "After the Nexus incident, humans decided the galaxy was better off without their technology and wars. They pulled back and set up a barrier." "A barrier around 200 star systems?" Jiwoo asked in disbelief. "That's impossible." Tae-ho smiled slightly. "Impossible for us. Maybe. Not for them." He pulled out an old data chip from his pocket. It looked ancient compared to modern technology. "This was given to my great-grandfather by a human diplomat before they closed their borders. It's been passed down through my family with strict instructions. Use it only if the galaxy faces a threat it cannot defeat alone." He inserted the chip into the console. The screen changed to show a simple set of coordinates and a code sequence. These lead to what they called a contact point at the edge of human space, Tae-ho explained. If we send a ship there with this code, they should answer. Should? Ji-woo asked. It's been 300 years, Tae-ho admitted. I don't know if their systems still work or if they even care about us anymore. Another alert sounded. The holographic map showed 5 more systems under attack. At this rate, the STAEN will reach the core worlds in 2 weeks, Subin calculated. Tae-ho straightened his uniform. His mind was made up. We need to send a diplomatic mission to human space immediately. Volunteers only. It could be dangerous. I'll prepare our fastest ship, Ji-woo said without hesitation. No, Tae-ho shook his head. I need you here. If this fails, someone needs to organize the remaining defenses. I'll go, said a voice from the doorway. They turned to see Captain Hyun-woo Choi, one of their best pilots. My family has old stories about humans. I'd like to see if they're true. Tae-ho nodded. Choose your crew carefully. You leave in 6 hours. As the others left to prepare, Tae-ho turned back to the window. The peaceful stars seemed to mock him now. The STAEN excluded humans from their war declaration, he said, quietly to himself. They're afraid of something they think is no longer here. Later that day, Tae-ho stood in the launch bay watching as the diplomatic vessel Eternal Hope prepared for departure. Captain Hyun-woo had selected a small crew, pilot Min-ji Kang, Ambassador Do-yeon Jong, and 2 security officers. Your mission is simple, Tae-ho told them. Reach the human contact point, transmit the code, and ask for help. If humans still exist, remind them of their old promise to protect the assembly. Ambassador Do-yeon looked nervous. And if they refuse? Then we fight until we can't, Tae-ho said grimly. But I don't think they'll refuse. The STAEN are afraid of humans for a reason. The small ship's engines hummed to life. Through the viewport, Tae-ho could see Hyun-woo at the controls, giving him a confident salute. As the Eternal Hope left the station and jumped to light speed, Ji-woo joined Tae-ho in the now empty launch bay. Do you really think humans still exist? She asked quietly. Tae-ho watched the empty space where the ship had been. My great-grandfather used to tell me something a human told him once. We're not leaving forever, we're just waiting until we're needed again. He turned away from the viewport. For all our sakes, I hope he was telling the truth. Back in his office, Tae-ho updated the assembly leadership on his decision. Most thought he was wasting time chasing myths. Only the oldest members remained quiet, their eyes showing a mix of hope and fear at the mention of humans. 3 days. Later, as Tae-ho was reviewing the latest battle reports, his private console chimed. It was a coded message from the Eternal Hope. The message was brief. Contact point reached, signal sent, awaiting response. Now all they could do was wait and hope that the legends would answer. Captain Hyun-woo Choi watched as the Eternal Hope approached the border of what was once human space. His hands were steady on the controls, but his heart beat fast. No ship had returned from this region in 300 years. Border ahead, Captain, said pilot Min-ji Kang. Her voice was calm, but her knuckles were white as she gripped her seat. Ambassador Do-yeon Jong stood behind them, staring at the view screen. I still can't believe we're doing this, chasing ghosts when the assembly is under attack. Not ghosts, Hyun-woo said. My grandfather worked with humans before they left. He said they were just like us, but with strange ideas and powerful technology. The ship's computer beeped. They had reached the coordinates Admiral Tae-ho had given them. This is it, Hyun-woo said. Min-ji, slow to half speed. Do-yeon, prepare to send the code. The ship slowed. Through the view screen, they saw nothing special, just empty space and distant stars. But the sensors showed something else. Energy readings ahead, Min-ji reported. Very faint, but they form a line, like a wall. Do-yeon looked nervous. The stories say ships that cross into human space lose power and never return. That's why we have the code, Hyun-woo reminded him. Send it now. Do-yeon entered the ancient code sequence into the communications system. The ship sent the signal toward the invisible wall of energy. Nothing happened. Maybe it's too old, Minji suggested after a minute of silence. 300 years is a long time. Hyunwoo shook his head. We have to try. The STAEN will destroy everything if we don't get help. He turned to Minji. Take us forward. Slow speed. Into human space? Minji asked, eyes wide. But Captain, that's an order, Hyunwoo said firmly. This mission is our last hope. Minji nodded and guided the ship forward. As they crossed the invisible line, they all held their breath. The lights flickered once, then stayed on. The engines hummed normally. We're fine, Minji said, sounding surprised. Do-yeon laughed with relief. Maybe the stories were wrong, or maybe a loud beep from the communications system interrupted him. A voice speaking perfect galactic common came through the speakers. Unidentified vessel, you have entered protected space. State your identity and purpose. The 3 crew members looked at each other in shock. Someone was out here after all. Hyunwoo cleared his throat. This is Captain Hyunwoo Choi of the Galactic Assembly diplomatic vessel Eternal Hope. We come seeking contact with humans on urgent assembly business. Silence followed. Then the voice returned. Transmit verification code. Do-yeon quickly sent the code again. Another long silence followed. Finally, the voice spoke again. Code verified. Origin: Admiral Ryu Kim, 2735 standard date. Eternal Hope, hold position for scan. A blue light swept through the ship. The crew sat very still. Scan complete. Follow the guidance beacon to Outpost 7. Deviation from the path will result in immediate defensive measures. A small light appeared on their navigation screen, showing a path deeper into human space. They're real, Minji whispered. Humans actually exist. Hyunwoo nodded, trying to stay calm. And they remember the assembly, that's a good start. For 3 days they followed the beacon through empty space. They saw no planets, no stations, no other ships. Just stars and silence. Then, on the 4th day, Minji gasped. Captain, look! A massive space station had appeared on their sensors. It was shaped like a wheel with spokes connecting to a central hub. Lights glowed along its surface. It's huge, Do-yeon said. Bigger than Central Station at Assembly Headquarters. As they got closer, the communication system activated again. Eternal Hope, you are cleared to dock at Bay 17. Follow the guide lights. Blue lights appeared, leading them toward the station. As they approached, they could see ships docked at other bays, ships with strange designs they had never seen before. Human ships, Hyunwoo said quietly. So they haven't stopped building them. A gentle force took control of their ship, guiding it into a docking bay. With a soft thud, they connected to the station. What now? Minji asked. We meet our hosts, Hyunwoo said, standing up. And we tell them why we've come. The airlock door opened. Standing on the other side was a person in a simple gray uniform. He looked completely normal, not a giant or monster from the stories. Just a man with short black hair and calm eyes. Welcome to Outpost 7, he said. I am Director Han-Jun Kim. Please follow me. The 3 assembly members followed Han-Jun through clean, well-lit corridors. Other humans passed them, giving curious looks but saying nothing. You speak our language very well, Do-yeon noted. Han-Jun smiled slightly. We monitor assembly communications. It helps us stay informed without direct contact. He led them to a meeting room with a large table and comfortable chairs. Through a window they could see the station extending in all directions. Please sit, Han-Jun said. Now tell me why the Galactic Assembly has broken 3 centuries of separation to contact us. Hyunwoo took a deep breath. The STAEN have declared war on the Assembly. They've already taken 8 systems. Our weapons cannot stop their crystal ships. Han-Jun's face showed no surprise. We've been watching the STAEN. Their expansion has been concerning. Then you know we need help, Do-yeon said urgently. The Assembly will fall without it. What's interesting, Han-Jun said, is that the STAEN specifically excluded humans from their war declaration. Why do you think that is? Minji spoke up. Admiral Taeho thinks they fear you. They remember what humans were capable of. Hanjun nodded slowly. The STAEN have long memories. They were there during the Nexus incident. Will you help us? Hyunwoo asked directly. The assembly is dying. That is not my decision to make, Hanjun replied. I must contact Earth Command. Such a request goes beyond my authority. How long will that take? Do-yun asked. 2 days, Hanjun said, standing up. In the meantime, you will be our guests. You're free to move around public areas of the station. After Hanjun left, the 3 assembly members looked at each other. What do you think? Minji asked quietly. They're not what I expected, Hyunwoo admitted. The stories make humans sound like gods or monsters, but they seem normal. Normal people don't hide 200 star systems behind an energy wall, Do-yun pointed out. For 2 days they explored the station. They saw humans going about their daily lives, working, talking, eating meals together. They also saw amazing technology that made assembly tech look primitive. Finally, Hanjun called them back to the meeting room. His face was serious. Earth Command has reviewed your request, he said formally. For the first time in 297 years, humanity will return to galactic affairs. Hope filled Hyunwoo's chest. You'll help? Hanjun nodded. The human fleet arm has been authorized for deployment. A battle group is being prepared as we speak. How many ships? Minji asked. Enough, Hanjun said simply. Your ship will be escorted back to assembly space to deliver the message. Human representative will accompany you. When will the fleet arrive? Do-yun asked. Hanjun's expression was grim. When it's ready, but I can tell you this. The STAEN were right to fear us. They just didn't fear us enough. As they prepared to depart the next day, Hyunwoo watched humans loading equipment onto a sleek ship that would escort them home. For the first time since the war began, he felt real hope. The legends were real, and they were coming back. Deep inside a purple nebula at the heart of human space, a giant facility covered most of a small planet. This was Earth Command, the center of human military power. Inside the main control room, Admiral Ju-won Park read the message from Outpost 7 again. So the STAEN have finally made their move, he said to the officers around him. His voice was calm, but his eyes were serious. Yes, sir, replied General Sun Ho-kang. Director Hanjun reports that the Galactic Assembly is losing, badly. 8 systems have already fallen. Ju-won walked to the large window overlooking the shipyards below. Hundreds of massive warships sat silent and dark. They had been waiting here for almost 300 years. Begin awakening protocols for the 7th Fleet, he ordered. Priority, activation for dreadnoughts Dauntless and Resolute. The 7th Fleet, sir? Asked Commander Yoon Ji-yoon. She was young and had never seen the ships in action. That's over 50 capital ships. The STAEN aren't a small problem, Ju-won said. They're one of the oldest species in the galaxy. Their technology is second, only to ours. Below them, lights began to come on throughout the shipyard. Giant mechanical arms moved into position. The ships were starting to wake up. How long since these ships have seen combat? Asked Yoonji. Almost 3 centuries, Ju-won replied. But we've upgraded them 17 times since then. On the other side of the facility, Captain Jun Seo Kim watched as the massive dreadnought Dauntless slowly lit up. The ship was over 7 kilometers long with thick armor and powerful weapons. Unlike the colorful, smooth ships of the Galactic Assembly, human warships were dark gray, angular, and looked dangerous. She's beautiful, said his friend, Lieutenant Min-ho Lee. Jun Seo nodded. And deadly. One dreadnought could destroy the entire STAEN fleet if needed. Then why are we sending 50 ships? Min-ho asked. Because we don't just want to win, Jun Seo explained. We want to send a message to the whole galaxy. Don't start wars near human space. For the next 2 weeks, the shipyard was busy. Thousands of crew members came out of special sleep and prepared for battle. Engineers checked every system. Weapons were loaded and tested. Supply ships filled the warships with food and equipment. Commander, Yoon Ji-yoon was given command of the Dauntless. As she walked through the huge ship, she felt both proud and nervous. This would be her first real battle. Engineering reports all systems green, Commander, said her second officer, Lieutenant Jin-woo Shin. The ship is at 100% readiness. Thank you, Lieutenant, Yoon-ji said. And the crew? All 12,000 crew members are aboard and ready, Jin-woo reported. Many are excited to finally use their training in real combat. Yoon-ji nodded. Human military forces had been training for centuries, but only in simulations. The older officers had never even seen a real enemy. 2 decks below, Engineer Ha-jun Choi was checking the main weapon systems. The Dauntless had energy weapons that could cut through any known material, including STAEN crystal. These guns have enough power to destroy a small moon, Ha-jun explained to his team. But be careful. We don't want to cause more damage than needed. In another part of the ship, Dr. Mi-sun Park prepared the medical bay. She hoped they wouldn't have many injuries, but she wanted to be ready. The STAEN weapons can cause crystal growths on living tissue, she told her medical staff. We have special tools to remove them, but work quickly if you see any. Throughout the ship, similar preparations were happening. In the kitchens, cooks prepared meals for thousands. In the armory, soldiers checked their personal weapons. In the launch bays, pilots ran final checks on fighter craft. Finally, after 2 weeks of preparation, the 7th Fleet was ready. 50 massive ships and over 200 smaller support vessels formed up in space near Earth Command. Admiral Ju-won Park stood on the command deck of the Dauntless. On screens around him, he could see the captains of the other ships waiting for his orders. For almost 300 years we have stayed hidden, Ju-won said to all the ships. We watched as the galaxy forgot us. We improved our technology. We trained our forces. We waited. He paused, looking at the faces of his officers. Today we honor our ancestors' promise, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The STAEN. Believe humans are just legends. Let's show them why legends are feared. A cheer went up across the fleet. Ships began moving into jump formation. Set course for Galactic Assembly territory, Ju-won ordered. Our first stop is Proxima System, where the Eternal Hope is returning with the human representative. Jump. Drives ready, Admiral, reported the navigation officer. Jump, Ju-won commanded. In a flash of blue light, the entire fleet disappeared from human space. In the Proxima System, the small diplomatic vessel Eternal Hope was flying fast, escorted by a human scout ship. Captain Hyunwoo Choi was eager to return to assembly space with the good news. I still can't believe the humans agreed to help, said Ambassador Do Yeon-jung. After hiding for so long, why come back now? The human representative, Colonel Jin-ho Park, smiled. We never stopped caring about the galaxy. We just needed time to make sure our technology wouldn't cause more harm than good. Suddenly, the ship's alarm sounded. Pilot Minji Kang checked her screens. 5 STAEN cruisers ahead, she called out. They must be a scouting group. Colonel Jin-ho didn't look, worried. Don't change course, keep going. But we can't fight 5 cruisers, Hyunwoo protested. We don't need to, Jin-ho said calmly. Just watch. The STAEN ships approached quickly. Their crystal hulls glowed with power as they prepared to attack. The lead ship sent a message. Assembly vessel, surrender now or be destroyed. Before Hyunwoo could respond, a massive blue flash lit up the space behind them. The scout ship's sensors showed 50 new ships appearing, the human 7th Fleet. The STAEN ships immediately changed direction, trying to escape. But it was too late. This is Admiral Ju-won Park of the Human Fleet Arm, came a voiceover, all communication channels. STAEN vessels, power down your weapons or be destroyed. The STAEN ships didn't respond. Instead, they fired at the human fleet. Their energy beams hit the lead dreadnought, the Dauntless, but did no damage at all. They always choose the hard way, Jin-ho sighed. The human fleet responded with precise shots that disabled the engines of all 5 STAEN ships without destroying them. Within 30 seconds, the battle was over. That was amazing, Minji whispered. Colonel Jin-ho nodded. That was just 5 ships against our fleet. The real battle hasn't even started yet. As they continued toward assembly space, Hyunwoo looked at the massive human ships following behind them. They were bringing hope back to a galaxy that had almost given up. "The legends have returned," he said quietly, and for the first time in weeks, he truly believed the assembly might survive. The news spread fast across the galactic assembly. Humans were real and they were coming to help. At assembly headquarters, Admiral Tae-ho Kim prepared for the arrival of the human fleet. "Is everything ready?" he asked Commander Ji-woo Park. "Yes, Admiral," she replied. "The grand reception hall is prepared. All assembly leaders have been invited." Tae-ho nodded, but worry showed in his eyes. "And what about the war? Any news?" Ji-woo's face darkened. 3 more systems lost yesterday. The STAEN are moving faster now." Before they could discuss further, a young officer rushed in. "Admiral, the Eternal Hope has returned. Captain Hyunwoo requests your presence in the main docking bay immediately." Tae-ho and Ji-woo hurried to the docking bay. There they found the Eternal Hope and a strange, sleek ship next to it. The second ship was black and angular, clearly of human design. Captain Hyunwoo stood with a tall man in a dark uniform. The poor man had a calm face and watchful eyes. "Admiral Tae-ho," Hyunwoo said with excitement. "This is Colonel Jin-ho Park, representative of the Human Fleet Arm." Tae-ho bowed slightly. "Colonel, welcome to assembly space. Your arrival brings hope to our people." Jin-ho returned the bow. "Admiral Ju-won sends his greetings. The 7th Fleet is holding position at the edge of your system, awaiting your orders." "The 7th Fleet?" Ji-woo asked. 50 capital ships and 200 support vessels," Jin-ho replied calmly. "It should be enough for this situation." Tae-ho and Ji-woo exchanged shocked looks. The entire Assembly Defense Force had only 30 capital ships, and most of those were already destroyed or damaged. "When can we meet with Admiral Ju-won?" Tae-ho asked. "Now if you wish," Jin-ho said. "My ship can take us to the Dauntless." Soon, Tae-ho and Ji-woo were aboard Jin-ho's ship, heading toward the edge of the system. As they left the main traffic lanes, Jin-ho pressed a button on his control panel. "Removing optical camouflage," he announced. Suddenly, the space ahead of them changed. Where there had been empty space, now there were ships. Huge ships. The smallest was twice the size of the largest assembly vessel. The 2 largest ships were truly massive, over 7 kilometers long. "By the stars," Ji-woo whispered. "They've been here the whole time?" Jin-ho nodded. "Human ships use technology that hides them from normal sensors. We prefer to observe before revealing ourselves." Their small ship approached the largest vessel, the Dauntless. As they came closer, they could see the sheer size of it. The hull was dark gray with minimal markings. No decorations, no bright colors like assembly ships. Inside the Dauntless, they were led to the command deck. Admiral Ju-won Park stood there watching displays showing ship positions and status reports. He turned as they entered. "Admiral Tae-ho Kim," Ju-won said with a smile. "Your great-grandfather would be proud. He was a good friend to humans." Tae-ho was surprised. "You knew him?" "Not personally," Ju-won admitted, "but I've read the historical records. His actions during the Nexus incident helped save many human lives." Before they could continue, an alarm sounded. A young officer reported, "Admiral, STAEN ships detected. Entering the system, 5 cruisers and 10 destroyers." Ju-won turned to the main view screen. "Let's see them." The screen showed 15 crystal ships moving toward the assembly headquarters. They were beautiful but deadly, glowing with blue-green energy. "They don't know we're here," Ji-woo realized. "Correct," Ju-won said. "And we have an opportunity. Commander Yoonji, prepare a message to the STAEN fleet." Commander Yoonji Yoon nodded and pressed some buttons on her console. "Ready, Admiral?" "Send this. STAEN vessels, this is Admiral Ju-won Park of the Human Fleet Arm. You have entered protected space. Cease your attack on the Galactic Assembly and return to your territory immediately." The message was sent. For a long moment there was silence. Then a response came through. The view screen showed a STAEN commander. The crystal being was tall, with facets that reflected light in beautiful patterns. When it spoke, its voice had a strange echo. "This is Commander Kretax of the STAEN Expansion Force. Humans are myths. Your deception is amusing but pointless. Assembly ship, surrender, or be destroyed." Juwan smiled slightly. "They think we're faking the message from an assembly ship." He turned to Yunji. "Reveal 3 ships, let's show them we're very real." Yunji gave orders and 3 human warships dropped their camouflage. On the view screen, they could see the STAEN ships suddenly stop their advance. "Now they see us," Juwan said. "Send another message." This time, Juwan's face appeared on the transmission. "Commander Kretax, as you can now see, humans are not myths. We have returned to uphold our ancient alliance with the Galactic Assembly. This is your final warning. Retreat now." The STAEN commander's crystal face showed no emotion, but his voice held surprise. "Impossible. Humans left this galaxy centuries ago." "We never left," Juwan replied. "We were always watching, always waiting, and now we have returned." Without warning, the STAEN ships fired their weapons. Energy beams shot toward the 3 human vessels. But when the beams hit the human ships, they did nothing. The ship's armor absorbed the energy without damage. "I was hoping for a peaceful solution." Juwan sighed. "Commander Yunji, disable their engines. No destruction unless necessary." "Yes, Admiral," Yunji replied. The 3 human ships fired precise shots at the STAEN vessels. The beams were silver-white and moved faster than any weapon Taeho had ever seen. They cut through the STAEN crystal hulls like they were made of paper. Within moments, all 15 STAEN ships were drifting, their engines dead. "That's incredible," Jiwoo said. "Our best weapons barely scratch their hulls." "We've had 300 years to study STAEN technology," Jinho explained. "We know their weaknesses." Juwan turned to Taeho. "This was just a small STAEN force. The main fleet will come soon, now that they know we're here." "What's your plan?" Taeho asked. "We'll take the fight to them," Juwan said. "The STAEN respect strength above all else. We need to show them that attacking the assembly was a mistake." He walked to a large holographic map showing nearby star systems. "Here, at Centauri Nexus. Intelligence says the STAEN are gathering their main fleet there. That's where we'll meet them." Taeho looked at the map, then at the human admiral. "Why are you helping us after hiding for so long?" Juwan's face grew serious. 300 years ago, we made a terrible mistake. The Nexus incident nearly destroyed us. We withdrew to protect the galaxy from our technology." He paused, looking at the stars on the view screen. "But we always kept our promise, to return if the assembly faced a threat it couldn't defeat alone." As Taeho and Jiwoo prepared to return to assembly headquarters with the news, they watched the human fleet moving into jump formation. The massive ships aligned with perfect precision. "The assembly needs to know what we saw today," Taeho said quietly. "Humans aren't just real. They're more powerful than even the old stories said." Jiwoo nodded. "Do you think they'll stay after the war? Rejoin the assembly?" "I don't know," Taeho admitted. "But for now, let's be grateful they've returned when we needed them most." As their ship headed back to headquarters, the human fleet jumped away, heading toward the final battle with the STAEN. At Centauri Nexus, a major trade hub before the war, the STAEN were gathering their forces. Over 300 crystal warships formed a massive fleet. Their hulls glowed with power as they prepared for a final push against the Galactic Assembly. Inside, the STAEN flagship, Supreme Commander Virtax called his officers together. His crystal body reflected the light in blue and green patterns as he moved. "Our scouts have not returned from the assembly core systems," he told them. "Reports suggest human ships have been seen." "Humans?" asked one officer. "But they are just old stories." "Perhaps not," Virtax said. "The oldest records speak of a terrible power the humans once used, the Nexus weapon that tore space itself." Another officer spoke up. "Even if humans exist, they cannot match our fleet. We have the largest force the STAEN have assembled in 1,000 years." Virtax was not convinced. "Prepare the fleet for battle. If humans have returned, we must show them our strength immediately. Nearby, hidden behind a small moon, the human fleet waited. 50 warships held position in perfect silence. On the Rao Bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral Juwon Park studied the STAEN fleet through advanced sensors. They have 312 ships, reported Commander Yoon Ji-yoon. We're outnumbered 6-1. Juwon didn't seem worried. Numbers aren't everything, position is more important. He turned to the tactical display, where a 3D map showed the star system. The STAEN expect us to attack from the assembly direction. Instead, we'll come from behind them, between their fleet and their home territory. Cutting off their retreat, Yoonji understood. A bold move. Bold but careful, Juwon corrected. All ships prepare to drop camouflage on my command. Weapons at full power, but hold fire until ordered. Throughout the human fleet, crews moved to battle stations. In the engine room of the Dauntless, engineer Ha-Jun Choi checked the power. Systems one last time. All systems green, he reported. Engines at 100% capacity. Weapons drawing full power. In the medical bay, Dr. Mi-sun Park prepared her team. Remember your training. We may see injuries we've only simulated before. Fighter pilots climbed into their small, fast ships. Gunners took position at weapon stations. Every person on every ship was ready. All ships report ready, Admiral, Yoonji said. Juwon nodded. Begin Operation Vindication. All ships drop camouflage and move to position Alpha. Now. Suddenly, the human fleet appeared from behind the moon. The ships moved in perfect formation toward the rear of the STAEN fleet. Before the STAEN could properly react, the humans had positioned themselves between the crystal ships and their home territory. Inside the STAEN flagship, alarm sounded. Human ships detected, called a STAEN officer. 50 large vessels have appeared behind us. Virtax moved quickly to the view screen. When he saw the human fleet, even his crystal face showed surprise. So the myths are real, he said quietly. Send a message to their commander. On the Dauntless, Juwon received the STAEN communication request. Put them through, he ordered. The view screen showed Supreme Commander Virtax. The crystal being was taller than the others they had seen, with more complex patterns in his body. This is Supreme Commander Virtax of the STAEN Unified Forces, the crystal being said. Identify yourself. This is Admiral Juwon Park of the Human Fleet Arm, Juwon replied calmly. Your war against the Galactic Assembly ends today. Surrender your forces and withdraw to your recognized boundaries. Virtax's crystal body flashed. With light. It might have been laughter. We outnumber you 6-1, human, if you even are human and not some assembly trick. Numbers mean little, Juwon said. But perhaps a demonstration is needed. He turned to Yoonji. Target the uninhabited moon in Sector 4. Use the tertiary cannon only. Yoonji gave the order. A single beam of silver-white energy shot from the Dauntless toward a small, rocky moon. When it hit, the moon didn't just break. It shattered. Completely, turning into thousands of small rocks. That was one shot from one ship's smallest weapon system, Juwon told Virtax. You have 1 hour to consider your position. After that, we will disable your fleet and end this war by force. The communication ended. Virtax turned to his officers, his crystal body now dim with concern. Prepare all ships for battle, he ordered, but move them into defensive formation. We need time to study these humans. For 45 minutes, the STAEN fleet slowly formed a large sphere, with their strongest ships on the outside. They prepared their best weapons and strengthened their shields. But it wasn't enough. 12 minutes. Before Juwon's deadline, the STAEN fleet suddenly powered down their weapons. Sir, Yoonji reported with surprise, the STAEN are standing down. All ships have shut off weapon systems. A new message came from Virtax. Admiral Juwon Park, the STAEN High Command has ordered us to cease hostilities. We request terms for withdrawal. Juwon didn't show his surprise. Return all captured systems to assembly control. Withdraw all forces to pre-war boundaries, and attend peace talks on neutral ground. Virtax agreed immediately. The war that had threatened to destroy half the galaxy was over after just 23 days. 1 week later, representatives from all species gathered at Assembly headquarters. For the first time in 300 years, humans walked openly through the grand halls. Many younger aliens stared in wonder at the beings they had thought were just legends. Admiral Tae-ho Kim welcomed Ambassador Hae-jin Cho, the first official human diplomat to the Assembly in centuries. Next to them stood Virtax, representing the STAEN. Today marks a new beginning, Tae-ho announced to the gathered representatives. The war is over. Peace has returned. After the main ceremony, Hae-jin explained to the Assembly why humans had withdrawn so long ago. After the Nexus incident, we realized our technology had become too dangerous, she said. We chose to withdraw rather than risk bringing our conflicts to the wider galaxy. But we never abandoned our commitment to maintain stability. Will you stay this time? Tae-ho asked. Rejoin the Assembly permanently? Hae-jin smiled. Yes. The time for hiding is over, but we will return slowly, sharing our knowledge carefully. We've learned from our past mistakes. The humans didn't ask for territory or payment for their help. Their only demand was that the Assembly create a permanent peacekeeping force with members from all species, including the STAEN. Later, as the diplomatic ceremonies ended, Admiral Tae-ho approached Admiral Ju-won by a large window overlooking the station. The legends didn't do you justice, Tae-ho said. Ju-won smiled. That's the point of legends, Admiral. Reality is always more complex. We're not gods or monsters, just humans who learned from our mistakes. What happens now? Tae-ho asked, looking at the stars. Now we rebuild, Ju-won replied. Together. The galaxy is facing new challenges that will require all of us working as one. As the human fleet prepared to return to Earth Command, stories spread throughout the galaxy. The legends had returned, and they were both more and less than the myths suggested. They weren't magical beings or terrifying monsters. They were simply humans. Powerful, yes, but also wise enough to use that power carefully. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt truly at peace.